Okay. No,
We
I
can
haven't
sing
got
if we
anything.
have to.
I'm relying on you two saying all the erudite things.
Oh, get ready.
So I guess because the early childhood hub is a sort of a new one in the EFS tertiary network, I think there's no set agenda for these hubs. It's basically to see whether a hub is going to serve a purpose as part of this whole network, and what you think the hub could do, to progress building sustainability into tertiary curriculum. So there's a teacher ed hub, which is another one, and there are a whole lot of others like business ed and engineering, and then there's some cross-disciplinary hubs and so on. So early childhood can just focus on that area. So I guess from this, we don't need to really have a really long meeting. It's just to get started with some ideas about how or whether you think that an early childhood hub could work within this much larger network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My interest in, Sue, is there any others of these that you know of? Do these hubs exist elsewhere?
Not for tertiary early childhood that I'm aware of, and certainly not for sustainability. I think there's certainly value in having a hub for early childhood because we can work across the university and the TAFE sector. I think that's very important. And the TAFE sector, as far as I'm concerned, is already ahead in leaps and bounds in terms of sustainability because of the, as you would know, the elective unit on sustainability in the Cert 3 and the core unit on sustainability in the diploma. With the university, to me, it's very ad hoc, and that's probably your experience too. Would that be the case?
Definitely. We made sure it came into one of our core subjects. However, that was because it was our intention. But we're in a great position now at La Trobe because we have sustainability thinking as one of our essentials that has to be visible in all of our degrees. So our subject here, making sense of their world, which is a second year subject, is where it's sat really comfortably in the Bachelor of Early Learning and our online subject, Bachelor of Early Childhood Education and our Bachelor of Early Learning. So we've put it in there specifically. However, we would love to eventually have it as a standalone subject that's simply just about sustainability. That is my hope in the future.
Well, the only ones that I'm aware of, I mean, I think that's a great approach, that systems, approach across the whole university to ensure sustainability is in all the units. In early childhood, the only ones where I'm aware of standalone units are ones that I've been directly involved in. There's one at RMIT in their course.
Yep.
And these are relatively new courses. I think that one I wrote in 2012, I think, or maybe 2011. That was my last year at RMIT. And
what about Queensland University, Sue? Have they got one with Julie Davis?
I don't believe so. My understanding is that at QUT, the sustainability is still very much part of the science unit, and that's typically where it sits. In early childhood degree courses is within science, and you're asked to teach across science, technology, maths, and environment, for example. So it's a conglomeration, and you struggle. In my experience, you struggle to. And you have to be really committed to sustainability to make sure that you allocate sufficient space within the teaching time that you've got to ensure that sustainability is covered. The other place that I know that there's a standalone unit, and I have to say again, it's one that I wrote, and that is at ACU when I worked there in Melbourne. But that applies to ACU nationally, and that's in their new Masters of Early Childhood, which is an online one. But I was reflecting that, I mean, this is only what I know from personal experience. I don't think anyone's really done a mapping of where sustainability is in early childhood degree courses.
Gee, that'd be a worthwhile exercise.
It would be interesting. I know Julie Davis and Joe Ferreira have done all their work on teacher education,
Yep.
which was probably inclusive of early childhood, but I'd need to go back and have a look at their papers to find out to what.
I don't think it was, Sue. I've been looking, unless I've overlooked it, but I certainly saw that it was mostly primary school focus.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a task there in mapping where is sustainability in early childhood degree courses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea. So that's maybe something that could be an early task for this group, do you think?
Yep.
Yep.
And an easier exercise if we have this national network where we've got great access to people's information.
It's because you can just, you can ask specific people like Julie or Karen and where they know that it exists. Like you already know a lot, Sue, about where it exists from your experience, and Leanne, and so that's a good purpose for a network, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Alison, how would people, so for the people in the TAFE sector that we know will be really, having to fast track their understanding of sustainability, given it's now a core unit in their training package.
Yeah.
How are we marketing this? How will they know this network exists?
Well, some people in the network are from TAFEs anyway. It's not just for universities. It's just any tertiary groups. Just one sec, just in case. This is Karen. Hello, Alison speaking. Oh, I'm good, thanks. But I'm actually in the middle of a Zoom meeting, so am I able to ring you back, or is it something really quick? Sorry. Okay. We'll be finished by 5. Okay, that'll be good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, that was possibly important, but not that important. So anyway, sorry.
It's not a Tatsotto win.
No. So it does not. That's so important. So what were we saying?
So do we have anyone from TAFE from early childhood that have shown an interest?
Look, I would have to go right through the whole list of people to see if anyone put down early childhood, and
Come in.
I can do that.
G'day, love. I'm on an online meeting. How are you? Guy, this is Paige, a great graduate.
Hi, Paige.
Do you remember hearing about Sue Elliot? This is the Sue Elliot that you've learned so much about over the years. Sue, you're famous here.
Thank you. How much do I owe you in PR?
Well, it's because of your great books.
Oh.
Thanks, Dale. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye. Sorry, Alison. So we've got a list that we can.
Well, I've got a list of all the people who registered for the symposium, and everybody put down their areas of interest. So I can have a look to see who else put down early childhood and whether they're from TAFEs, and I can give you that information.
And I guess is that up to us now too? As
yeah, I think what would be good, and I think I'll try to set up on our network website. The one that Colin and I are working. Is to get people to go onto their hub area and register their name and email address, so that can start to build a network, or even if they're people who've not had anything to do with it before. So I think that if you know people who might or are interested, and could direct them to that as soon as I send an email to you to tell you that it's set up, that'd be good, because we can just start then getting that information visible online, and then you can just look it up and see who they are and where they're from, and
So we need Julie Davis and we need Tracy Young, and there's some great.
Yeah, I think so. So that way it's they don't have to be going through me or Colin. They can just directly put things on, and then you can see that yourself by just looking on there.
So can you explain what is Sue and my role? What's
each hub has one or two sort of convener type people who just kickstart things and get things going, and are a point of contact for people in that hub. So if you could both do that, that'd be great. And you can do whatever you want, whatever you see as necessary in the early childhood area.
In terms of profiles, Sue, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but Sue's name will carry some big weight in terms of, you know, probably the most extensive history in this area in the early childhood domain.
Yeah, so it's great.
Bit of a coup, Sue, that we got you.
Yeah, no, it's really good, Sue. And and I just think you know, you can do what you want, and you can use our website in any way you see fit. And if you can think of things that need to be set up and there are things that you can't set up, then you can just let me know and I'll try to do it. You know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm trying to also put on the website, there's a resources page. At the moment, that I've only, you know, there's just a few basic ones like that. The recent AESA report on teacher education and teaching and sustainability. But if there's new reports that are out that you're aware of or anything that you'd like on there.
I'm going to try something tricky and try and share a document. I just want Sue's opinion of how relevant it still is.
Right.
I'll either do this well or I won't. Keep talking to others, it'll take me a while.
Okay.
In terms of resources, this second edition of Julie Davis's Cambridge book is out.
Right.
That's come out in the last few weeks, and that's directly a tertiary text on early childhood sustainability. So
fantastic.
That needs to be shared. And the other thing I'd add, there's a few papers that have been published this year that look particularly at professional development and what facilitates change for early childhood educators.
Fantastic.
My colleague Nadine McRae here was involved in those. That was some PD work in Tasmania. So I think there's a few papers and reports. Is the best way to send it through to you, Alison, or can we add them ourselves? How does that work?
At the moment, I don't think that you can add them yourselves, but I'll try to make it so that you can. So in the meantime, if you want to send me the author and, you know, the citation and a little blurb about it, and then I can put that on there just to alert people, or if there's a website, a web link, I can give you that and I'll put that on there as well.
Now, can you two see this document?
Yes, I can see a whole list of documents here.
Oh, can you see all of my documents?
Yeah. We can.
We don't want that.
I can see all
my master's list. So why can't you see this one, I wonder? I've got the
I saw it, yes, I can see it now, the sustainability curriculum framework. Yeah.
So Sue, is that still a fairly current guide? That starts at 4-year-olds. I know it's not 0 to, but it's got the preschool content up to grade year 8, isn't it?
Is that the national one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there more reliable or more recent?
What year was that one? Was it 2000?
This one was 2010, I think.
2010.
Hang on. Yeah, 2010.
Yeah. I would certainly still be using that. Yeah.
Right.
If there's principles in there that you can.
Oh, look, it's certainly not as. It's not as. I mean, my favourite resource at the moment is, see, wouldn't it, if we can even from this network get some support to put towards this movement with the CEQA?
Yeah. Well, I can, once we've, the online submission due on the 15th, if you use an online approach, it's 300 words. So that's what Julie, Deb and I are trying to come up with. They've done a first draft and I've just been a bit snowed under, so I need to get to a second draft of that so we have a succinct and clear message of 300 words that then we can distribute and do that through. I've already been speaking to Mark Caddy to do that through A Squared, E Squared, and then also through this organisation and through the state-based networks and that sort of thing. So,
can I ask what A Squared, D Squared is?
A Squared, E Squared?
Yes.
Australian Association for Environmental Education.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even understand the acronym. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's what they all call it, Leanne.
Do they? I haven't heard it called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All righty. Well, that's got to have some power pack.
Yep. The other thing I'm interested in is that in the TAFE sector, the units on sustainability that have that have come in since 2012, it's been highlighted to me. We've just finished a big project for the New South Wales Government Office of Environment and Heritage on mapping early childhood sustainability across New South Wales, through the peak organisations, through managers, and phone interviews with practitioners. And one of the key things that came out of that was this, well, need to demystify sustainability. But the problem is that we've got so many people that trained prior to 2012. And so one of the initiatives we've suggested is that the TAFEs be a bit proactive about marketing the unit on sustainability across the early childhood sector. I mean, I'm not sure how it is in Victoria at the moment, but the TAFEs in New South Wales are in a fairly parlous state, similar to what we went through in Victoria a few years ago. And so the idea of marketing and making, potentially making some money out of having this sustainability unit available, that's what we're thinking of, and that's what we've suggested to the Office of Environment and Heritage.
Great, so we can suggest that here. I know Bendigo's about to amalgamate with Kangan, and they're very keen to have some point of difference.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of potential there for TAFEs to market it as a standalone unit as part of professional learning for early childhood educators. And we're hoping that if the Trust goes ahead with some of the initiatives that we've suggested, that there'll be some sort of, in New South Wales anyway, some sort of funding arrangement that could support practitioners to do that, because practitioners don't get paid a lot in childcare, and they'll need some additional incentive to be able to do it. Yeah.
Do you see Early Childhood Australia is running their own training at the moment, online training?
Is that the Early Childhood Australia online or something, whatever?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, so I just came across it recently in one of the web.
So that's to replace the PLP that they previously had federal funding for.
Yeah, so it's user pays, but I noted they had some sustainability content, but I haven't, until you pay the money, you can't get access.
That's right, yeah. So, and again, I'm not sure how many services, well, now that services have got that big injection of funds to do professional development across the childcare sector, that's another way to get more sustainability into the sector. You know, the funding that long daycare.
I thought they didn't get it. Has that come through?
Yeah, so
because they held on to it for some time, didn't they, in the changeover?
Yeah, no, there's a number of services. I've spoken to coordinators, and they've got quite a significant amount of money to spend on PD. It's only in childcare, not in preschool settings. Great. But they've got a significant amount of money to spend on PD, which is another area that people like yourself and myself that are in academic positions and have the ability to go out and do PD around sustainability. So,
we've been out there doing it for free because the centres don't have any money, but I know we're certainly being pushed to corporatise that. Yeah,
well, that I have to do, anything I do through UNE is paid. Yeah. Although I argue for cheaper rates than what the university would charge you out for $1,000 a day or something. Can't do that in early childhood.
No way. It's unethical.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of our roles, how do we manage that, Alison? We've just both got the same level of access in terms of loading stuff up?
At the moment, I don't think you've got access, but I think
so we send stuff to you.
Well, you can put comments on there at the moment. Anybody can do that. But I can ask Colin if you can just have access, say like I've got, and in that case you would be able to load things up. But in the meantime, you can send things to me and tell me where you want to put them on. So I was going to can you unshare your screen for a second?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
All right, because I'll share that. Then I'll try and share mine.
Okay. Now let me see how I do that. I think I'll get rid of this, then you'll get to see my messy screen. Well, I've lost Zoom now.
Oh. We can see you.
Here we go. There it is. And
So
then
now I'll try and share my screen. Yes. Okay. So can you share screen only? Oh, with computer sound. Whoops. Oh. What's going on?
Yeah, I didn't press the one with sound. I pressed the other one.
Okay. Which password will I be wanting? Can you see? Not quite sure what's going on here. Oh,
Here you come. There it is. Beautiful.
can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the resources page on our blog site.
Can you maximise it, Alison? Your little green button.
My little green button.
Make it bigger. Top left.
Yeah. No, top left.
On your screen. Or maybe it doesn't go full screen on Zoom.
What about if I, hang on, I'll try it over here.
That's better. We can see it all.
Is that better?
No, now it's completely moved.
It's gone.
You can't see it. All right, I'll go back over here and I'll just make it bigger. I'll just kind of drag it out. How's that?
Beautiful. That's perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because we can move our pictures.
So on here, this resource page at the moment, I've only put a few recent resources. So I've just divided it into recent research publications, significant documents, and then under curriculum and teaching resources, that's where you could put, for example, that curriculum document, the national one showed us, and any other useful websites. So they could go on there, which is the general page, or you could also, under discipline hubs, under early childhood, which is this one, which currently doesn't have anything on it. But what I'll do, I'll put this recording, for example, on here, and you could put reference to key resources on there as well, or you could just put a link straight to the resources page. So in sometimes I've got several spots here where there's links to things, so that just depends where people are looking. So I guess you can use it any way you like, but I think that what we're trying to do too is have it up in the updates page. We're just continually putting things on that are current. So, for example, I put the 8th, the WEC Congress, which is abstracts are due by Friday for that.
That's right.
For next year, yeah. So
Are you going into that, Sue?
Yeah, I've got one abstract in and one's almost there.
Right.
Where is it next year?
In Sweden, Gothenburg.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm putting an abstract in, by Friday.
Gothenburg's beautiful.
I've never been there. But anyway, so if you've got things that are happening in early childhood, they could go onto that page, it could be conferences or whatever you like.
Yep.
And then they can also link to the early childhood page. So there's lots of different ways it can happen, but the main thing is just to try to create ways to draw people's attention.
Yeah.
So then, Alison, can you show me in terms of contact details?
Yeah.
There's
none at the moment for any of the hubs, but what I'm hoping or proposing that we do is if I can set it up so there's, say, a sidebar on the right-hand side, that could be where people put their names and contact emails.
Yep.
And we could have that for every hub, and that way we can just build. And some of them I can put on now, and I could put, hub conveners at the top, and then people can just add their own names and emails. That's ideally, that's how it would work. But it may not be possible in a sidebar, so it might have to go down the bottom, see where it says leave a reply. So if I put a note on each one, please add your name and email below, they could just go into leave a reply, and then we'll just build up a list that way.
So where will people who come to this page, though, see Sue's involvement? Will that be...
What do you mean, her involvement?
Well, I think once they see that Sue's associated with this page, particularly in the early childhood sector, that will give it some real clout in terms of...
We can put, when I put this video on, I'll put your name and Sue's on here, so they'll see that sort of straight away.
Great. Good-o.
But if you've got ideas about how, like it can be however we want it. and that this is just how it is now, but there could be other ways to organise it too.
Yeah.
So,
I think in terms of resources, it would be good if the early childhood resources could be with the hub rather than in the main one.
okay.
I think that would be more effective.
Well, we could just put a link under resources. We could just say for all early childhood resources, click here, and it just takes them straight back to the hub page.
Okay.
That's a good sorter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that would work.
Too often we get sucked into other vortexes and it loses its standalone.
Mm-hmm.
As much as this is a network and we need to do that, that collaborative stuff, we really also need to find our own place.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of those things that's a good idea. So then if people look first at the early childhood, they'll find it, but if they look first at resources, they'll still find them.
Fantastic.
The other way, yeah. So there's a few different, so there's obviously under the early childhood discipline hub area, there's the resources, there's the updates. So there's a few different areas where you could have information posted. Yeah.
So Alison, this is something we can share with our students in terms of access for them as well?
Yeah.
I
don't see why not. Yeah.
Well, for pre-service teachers, it'd be invaluable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's the idea. And also there's the teaching and learning sustainability page, which is the one that's been set up through a grant, and UTS operates that. So that's, if I just change to this website, I'll show you that one. That one's been going for a while. It's quite, much more sophisticated than ours. But we're going to set up a link directly to ours and then back to this one. So that people can use both websites. And this one may not keep going because the grant runs out in January. But so we try to work out a way to keep that going. And on this one, if you click on Education for Sustainability, there are, at the bottom you'll see featured courses and then featured teaching materials. That's where people have included things as open access materials.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also have things put on there. If you want them put on that one, Melissa Edwards really can do that, but I might be able to do some too because I've got some levels of access to that page.
Who's Melissa Edwards? Does she belong to UT?
Yeah, she's a lecturer at UTS. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so you could let me know and I can either try to put it on or send it to her and she can put it on.
Hey, when's Gothenburg? What month is that?
At the end of June and early July, 29th of June to early July.
Right, I'm saving.
I know, I really hope I can go too. And the trouble is whether we get any support, Leanne.
Oh, well, I think the day of support, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah. Leanne, the other incentive for going is that the week prior to the week conference, Julie Davis and Evie Hansen are hosting another early childhood transnational dialogues. So it's a research group that's the research group that led to the Routledge publication.
Oh, wow. I'd love to meet Julie Davis.
Yeah.
When you've read so much of someone's stuff, you just feel like the next step.
So it's a group we've had. We had our initial meeting in after the OMEP conference in 2010, and then we had another one in Brisbane at the week conference in 2012, I think that was.
And where's that happening, Sue? Is that happening over there?
Yes, but it will be in Stavanger, which is where Evie Johansson is based at the University of Stavanger.
Yep.
And we did a similar thing last time where we had one conference in Gothenburg and then we took the train trip from Gothenburg around the coast of Sweden and Norway to Stavanger, and there's a little sort of B&B hostel type place that we stay in Stavanger because it's very expensive in Norway. So so that's happening. There's yourself and there's a couple of other people that are in academia or doing higher degree studies. I would need to speak to Julie and Eva to get an invitation, I guess. Yep. It's not an open conference thing, but at the same time they try and encourage a range of people from professors to HDR and a whole range of people, and that's what the Routledge book was about, was not just having senior people publishing, but people who were publishing out of their doctorates or master's thesis, so that there was a lot of scaffolding and support of
building momentum.
Yeah, through that publication.
Great.
So if you're a bit keen, I know Julie's in China at the moment, but my intention was to write to her soon and say that there's a couple of people that I know might be interested.
I'd be very interested.
Okay.
That's the benefit of this network, Leanne.
Yeah, isn't it good?
Yeah.
Right. So it sounds as though to me that there are lots of things that the Early Childhood Hub could do, and that the first thing perhaps could be the mapping process of where it's happening in different courses across Australia.
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't have to have any further involvement in it, really. You can just do whatever you want with it. But if you want to, if you are organising Zoom meetings with people, then if you could just let me know, just so that I know that's happening, and if you can record them, that'd be great too. So we can put that online, and then that gives people can look at it and see what was discussed and so on.
Yeah,
that'd be good. And then we're going to have another big symposium, like we had last time, probably in April after Easter. So then you two could report back on what's been happening in your hub and what the issues are and what you're using the network for and so on. Yeah.
Do the conference you two went to recently in Tasmania, when does that run again? Is that annual?
That's A squared E squared, the one.
E squared. Beautiful. Is that an annual event? Is that happening again next year?
Is it 2 years, Sue?
No, it's every 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, biannual.
Adelaide in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was good. Yeah, and that had this year that had a research symposium the day before, which was good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
about giving this legs, giving this some exposure.
I think that research symposium is the way to go. That they've done the same thing with the Early Childhood Australia conferences, because academics don't necessarily get leave to go to general practitioner conferences, and
Yeah, it adds a bit of
adds a bit of
to it.
Yeah. In terms of setting up a Zoom, you sent me the email. Can you tell me how I initiate that process?
Well, I'm not really that adept at it, but when you click on your Zoom app thing, there are some options, and one of them is to you sign in. You can either join a meeting or sign in, and when you sign in, then you can opt to host a Zoom meeting session. Okay. So a good idea is to try it out beforehand, like we were doing before.
So the other thing is Skype apparently now does all of this as well. So I guess it depends what software you like the best, but you can do this now in Skype apparently. I haven't tried.
Yeah. Someone just told us that you can do something very similar. So
this seems to work okay though.
Yeah.
Once we got our speakers sorted.
The best connection and the clarity is amazing. So
And see, La Trobe's got a license. So La Trobe's paid for a license for Zoom, which means we can talk for a long time. Whereas if you don't have that license and you invite someone, after 10 minutes, they'll say that the free meeting will stop. So if you're having a meeting, it's better for Leanne to invite people.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in charge, Leanne.
Good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess realistically, in terms of the mapping, we probably need to get a bit organised about how that will work.
Yep.
And January, for you, Sue, are you having some downtime?
No, I'm actually teaching in trimester 3, which is from now till the end of January. So, so I'm back here from. I'm going to Melbourne tomorrow, but I'll be back here from the 2nd of January. So, I'm also thinking that maybe the mapping thing. I mean, we could do it informally, but there's also a possibility of applying for some funding to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be bigger than it could be quite a.
Could be. So I'm in the situation now, having finished the big project for New South Wales, I need to look around for another project.
Alrighty, great.
Got a few, obviously the bush kinder things, I need to do something there, but the mapping would be another one I could see internally if there's any funding coming up here at UNE.
When you could maybe link it to building the early childhood EFS network or something at the same time, maybe if
yeah.
So the beauty would be if you were to get that opportunity and get that funding to buy you some time to do it, then we now have this conduit to get the contacts and the information.
Yeah,
that'd be a good way to test it.
Yeah,
and that's good because then you can use the website as you said as the conduit, and it makes good use of that, and it's useful for you.
I mean, I've never been involved in any sort of mapping exercise, so I wouldn't feel particularly useful in terms of knowing how it happens, but certainly as a supporter and finding out information, I would love to help.
I'm sure, Leanne, you'll cotton on very quickly.
I think it sounds like something that if you've had some experience in would be amazingly useful.
Well, I'm still an ECR, so I'm still learning the ropes, and you never stop, I'd say.
Well, this is exciting. Thank you, Alison.
No worries. Thank you. That was
Thanks so much, Sue.
Thank you. Good to talk
to you soon. So will we reconnect in January?
Yep.
I'm back after the 2nd week. I've got a subject on the go at the moment, but I'm fortunate that I'm just coordinating, and so I'm taking 2 weeks off.
Good.
And then I'll be back on deck, I think, after the 15th of January.
All right. I'll put that.
So have a great Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. You too.
I'll contact you. I'll send you an email, Sue, and say back on deck and how's it going and what do we need to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And Sue, I'll be around most of the time except for the Christmas New Year week.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll be back probably on the 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
So so if you need to contact me, I'll be here.
We've had more of a chat now than what we did in real time in Hobart.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting, isn't it?
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. Bye.
Bye.